And so if you're not aware of this channel here on YouTube and what its purpose is for, it's for individuals who are maybe a little older, 35 plus. I'm 41 myself, and so I'm looking at getting into Olympic weightlifting at kind of an older age. And so this channel is meant for people who may be my age, like I said, 35, 40, maybe even 45, looking at getting into something like Olympic weightlifting. Maybe you just want to find something to stay in shape. Maybe you're just looking for something new. A little bit of back history about where my Olympic weightlifting desires came from. I would say that they originally came from CrossFit, just like most of the people who do Olympic weightlifting now. I think that it's actually a really good thing that CrossFit initially integrated Olympic weightlifting movements into their strength and conditioning programs. 12 to 13 years into the journey now that CrossFit is really mainstream. If we were to go back in time and check out the Olympic weightlifting community numbers as far as athletes, the average number of competitors, let's say in 2009 in Olympic weightlifting, was about 3,500 to 4,000 athletes who registered for world championships or just tried to get into the Olympics. Now we're looking at over 45,000 athletes. CrossFit has literally single-handedly revived Olympic weightlifting. Now, I'm not here to argue whether or not Olympic weightlifting is better than CrossFit or CrossFit sucks because they don't do the Olympic weightlifting movements as good as the Olympic weightlifting community likes to teach and coach them. That's not what this channel's for. I'm not going to sit here and bash CrossFit for not specifically honing in on very important key aspects of Olympic weightlifting that they should be focusing on, because to be quite honest with you, the stimulus that CrossFit utilizes the Olympic weightlifting movements isn't the same stimulus that Olympic weightlifting meets are trying to do when you see them on a stage or on a platform. CrossFit is obviously focused on metabolic conditioning. Olympic weightlifting is primarily focused on 2 lifts. That's it, just the snatch and clean and jerk. If my training doesn't help me in any one of those 2 lifts, then there's really no reason to be doing it. You as an older athlete may be looking at getting into Olympic weightlifting a little bit more seriously. You may be just curious just to see how strong can you get. What is the maximum amount of weight that you can lift overhead in the snatch and clean and jerk? Olympic weightlifting really does truly hold this monumental, historical, legendary spot within the sports community. Like wrestling, it's really one of those staple forms of competitive sports that can date back almost 100 years, not specifically in the form that we see the snatch and clean and jerk shown on the platform today. There's a couple different movements that the sport went throughout the past couple decades, but it is truly an ancient sport. So I don't know, maybe you're like me, maybe you're just interested in history, maybe you just like to see where things originated from, and you kind of like to get involved in the modern day version of what used to be certain things from 40, 50, 60 years ago, and you kind of just want to take part in a sport that's just been around for so many decades. CrossFit is awesome, but it's still in its infantile stages when it comes to it being a sport. I don't necessarily think CrossFit's going anywhere anytime soon, but I do think CrossFit is going to have to go through a few more growing pains in order to be truly considered a sport that is going to be around for the next 100 years. Now, I'm a CrossFit coach. I coach week in and week out, so I love CrossFit. I have nothing against CrossFit. I have nothing against CrossFitters. I have nothing against the CrossFit organization itself. Sometimes I do, but for the most part, I enjoy CrossFit. I enjoy what the overarching CrossFit methodology is when it comes to strength and conditioning, and I definitely see myself involved in CrossFit for the rest of my life. Anyways, guys, that is it for this video. If you are indeed interested in seeing my first Olympic weightlifting event, make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you can be notified whenever I drop any new videos, especially if you are an older athlete, 40 plus, interested in Olympic weightlifting, maybe getting into it, or maybe you're just developing a curiosity for it. This is the channel to watch. I'm 41, I'm just getting started into it, and I feel great. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in one of my next videos.